Dear friends, welcome to Know Thyself YouTube Channel. Good morning. Hope you're all staying safe and keeping well. I sincerely thank all of you who have subscribed to this channel and follow the channel. If you find the contents of the videos uploaded in this channel useful, please subscribe to this channel and click the notification or the bell icon so that you can be notified when a video is uploaded. Kindly share the videos with others or on the internet. In the last two episodes of Know Your Mind segment, we elaborated on the first two components of the human psyche, namely the id and the ego. In this episode, we elaborate on the third element of human personality, the superego. The superego is the last component of human personality to develop. It begins to emerge between the ages 3 to 5. It is the moral compass of your psyche, upholding a sense of right and wrong. The superego holds internalized moral standards, values, and ethical ideals that you initially learned from your parents. However, it continues to grow over time by enabling children to adopt moral values from other people they admire and from the society at large. The superego provides guidelines for making moral judgments and helps perfecting and civilizing your behavior. The superego is constituted of two parts, namely the conscience and the ego ideal or the ideal self. The conscience part of the superego works more in the unconscious level, while the ego ideal or the ideal self part of the superego functions more in the conscious and subconscious levels of the human mind. The conscience part of the superego serves as an unconscious inner voice that tells you when you do something wrong and calls you to do what is right. Thus, conscience is the source of self-criticism. It includes information about things that are viewed as bad by parents, others, and the society. It contains a vast number of codes, prohibitions, and prescriptions that are issued, often unconsciously, in the form of commands and don't statements. Conscience forbids unacceptable behaviors that leads to bad consequences. The ego ideal or ideal self part of the superego consists in what the superego wants you to do in impressive manner or in glowing terms. The ego ideal arises out of the first love attachment you cultivate, usually with one of the parents. When a child experiences a parent's love conditionally, that is, for doing something right, it internalizes these experiences as a series of real or imagined value judgments. Thus, ego ideal is an imaginary picture of how you ought to be, how to treat other people, and how to behave as a member of the society. It includes rules and standards of good behavior your ego should adhere to and aspire to live by. If you are successful in living up to the ego ideal and behave properly, your superego rewards you through the ego ideal by making you feel proud and satisfied. If you fail to live by the standards of the ego ideal, your superego punishes you through the ego ideal by making you feel guilty and ashamed and by creating in you a feeling that you are a failure. The two parts of the superego, namely conscience and the ego ideal or the ideal self, are largely determined in childhood from parental values, how you are brought up, and your childhood societal influences. The main purpose of the superego is to control the its impulses, particularly the forbidden societal taboos such as sex and aggression. It works to suppress all unacceptable urges of the id and struggles to make your ego act upon idealistic standards rather than upon realistic principles. Hence, the superego persuades you to strive after perfection by attempting to get your ego to go beyond realistic standards and by aspiring for moral goals. If your ego fails to control the impulses of the id by living according to moral standards, your superego punishes your ego for performing an action that you shouldn't have done by making you feel guilty, ashamed, and remorseful. For example, if your ego gives into the demands of your id, your superego would make you feel bad through guilt, shame, and remorse. Therefore, coping with guilt, shame, and remorse is a common problem you have to face because of the conflict between the urges, drives, and impulses of the id and prohibitions and don't do quotes of the superego. Thus, superego is that part of your psyche which represents societal codes and rules, integrates the values and morality of the society, functions based on a system of moral principles, controls the impulses of the id, functions through conscience and ego ideal or the ideal self, helps you to strive for perfection, persuades your ego to use moral goals rather than realistic principles, rewards you for good you do by making you feel proud and satisfied, and punishes you for the evil you do by making you feel guilty, shameful, and remorseful. In the next episode, we will speak about how the id, the ego, and the superego work in unison to make you behave in the right and socially acceptable way. Thank you for watching this video. Stay blessed until we see you again with another video.